welcome to the reading of the story The Inspector of Schools by Atar Tahir, part 4. Before we start the reading, I want to tell you an important thing. No matter how technical tools we have in the modern world, reading a book, going through the text, understanding its vocabulary and the context has been an age-old practice which will never be old. So remember, reading is going to be your friend in learning the English language always. Let us continue. We saw that they have finally found the school. Now, what happens in the school? What do the children do? How is the schoolmaster? And what is the thought and what is the conduct of the inspector in the school? Let us continue. There was not a sack mat in sight. The quiet in the clearing was especially noticeable after the noisy passage through the field. Nodding heads were busy in memorizing tables, while others were bent low over their slates and writing boards. Some boards were propped up against cane stalks to catch the sun. The ink was still fresh on them. An old man, stick in hand, sat cross-legged in a rickety chair in the center. The chair had been repaired several times, the joints reinforced with nailed strips of iron, the back held in the place with pieces of wood nailed on top of the original frame. The seat and back, once woven in rattan, were now nailed with odd slates of wood. The master stood up, his bare feet finding his duty. The inspector of school reaches the classroom and there is not a sack mat. The mat or the asan made of tat or bori on which the children are sitting. See, they don't have furniture. They're sitting on bori. They're sitting on the mat, which is also missing. Some are nodding their heads, means moving to and fro, their heads, learning tables. Some are writing on the slates. There are cane stalks and they are putting their slates on it so that they don't have lights, they are reading in sunlight. Now we come to the chair of the master. The chair is rickety, it is broken, it is cracked. It has been repaired several times. The nivar with which it was woven is completely torn and now it is nailed with odd wooden pieces. Now the master is standing up. He stands barefoot and he's looking for his juti. Juti is the footwear. Class, stand, the monitor commanded in class. All the students scrambled to their feet, dusting the lower fronts of their kurtas. The master, overcome by the presence of the inspector schools, took some time to collect himself. He dusted the chair he had been presiding from his shoulder cloth and held the chair for the inspector of the schools to sit. The peasant watched for a sign. The inspector of schools thanked him. He vanished. Now the master gets up from the chair and he offers the chair to his boss. There is one broken chair, same for the master and same for his boss, the inspector. The master, in respect, cleans the chair with his shoulder cloth for the inspector. The peasant, the farmer, wants to go now, and as soon as the inspector thanks him, he vanishes. Vanishes means disappeared. And he's saying, Huzur, an honor, Huzur. This is said by the peasant. So, this is the school. The inspector of schools looked around, frowning, looking at the condition of the school. The inspector is now frowning. He's angry the way the school and the class is going on. The master gulped audibly. Ji Sahib. Gulped is a sign of low confidence. He is unable to speak. What can he do? What are you teaching them? He heard the master gulp again. Urdu and sums and English and writing, sir. From the prescribed books? From the prescribed books, Sabji. He handed the inspector of schools the bundle of tattered and soiled books near the leg of the chair. The books are torn, they are old, they are dusty, and they are lying on the ground near the chair. The inspector of schools thumbed through the Urdu textbook, stopped at a chapter, and told a student to read. The boy got nonplussed into silence. Now the inspector took one book and he's browsing through it. Thumbing means he was looking through it and he's with his use of his finger, and he opened a chapter and asked the student to read it. Now the boy is nonplussed. He's confused. He becomes a statue. He doesn't know how to read, so he doesn't know what to do. Sirji, the big book is of 4th class and he's from 2nd. How many classes do you have here? 6, Sirji. Class 1 to 6. The inspector of schools now began to discern segments what he had taken as one group. This is class 4, Sirji. The master pointed with his stick. Now, have you heard of a school where class 1 to 6 sit all together and one single master teaching them? Isn't it strange? But this is the condition of schools in that old village of the subcontinent. Keep thinking how the school must be. Thank you.